Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Thursday, September 29th, 2022. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to put your baseball plays in the comments section below. If you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at Pickdawgz.com. I'm always running my $15 MLB best bet, so check it out at Pick Dawgz Premium. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Thursday, September 29th. First up, we see the Chicago White Sox taking on the Minnesota Twins. Lucas Giolito and Louis Varland are your projected starters. Louis Varland's had about 16 innings of work at the major league level this season. He's given up 19 base hits, 9 earned runs, 4 home runs, and he's earned 13 strikeouts in those innings. So not really the sharpest work right now. 5.06 ERA, pretty high whip at 1.44, and have some issues with the home run ball. Lucas Giolito in his road starts this season has actually been pretty good. Has not pitched very well at home at Guaranteed Rate Field, but on the road he's got a 3.84 ERA, 87 strikeouts in 79 2/3 innings. So I do like Giolito on the road, and I got to fade Louis Varland in this spot. So give me the Chicago White Sox at a pretty good price on the money line. In our next game, we see the Kansas City Royals taking on the Detroit Tigers. We're going to see Jonathan Heasley and Eduardo Rodriguez as the projected starters. In the last 30 days, the Royals are actually ranked 6th in the league in team OPS against lefties. They're ranked with an 810 team OPS. Their strikeout percentage still a little bit high at 22%, but overall the Royals are doing a pretty good job against left-handers, and Eduardo Rodriguez has struggled in the second half of the year. He's given up a good amount of base hits, which we're used to seeing from him, but last start 6 innings, 3 earned runs, 8 base hits against the White Sox. The Tigers offense did back him up in that one, but I think with Jonathan Heasley on the mound, somebody that I don't usually back very often, somebody that has improved, though, quite a bit. In his last 2 outings, going 12 2/3 innings against the Red Sox and Twins, giving up only 1 earned run with 8 strikeouts. He's in pretty good form, hasn't given up a home run in each of his last 2 games. Also, facing a pretty weak lineup here in Detroit, I'm going to take the Kansas City Royals, getting plus money right now on the road. Next up, we head to Fenway Park as the Orioles take on the Red Sox. This one at 1:35 Eastern start time. Nathan Eovaldi and Mike Baumann are your projected starters. We see a very high total for this game. We've seen plenty of high-scoring games in this series already. I got to take the over in this one. The Orioles are crushing right-handed pitching. The Red Sox are crushing right-handed pitching. Both bullpens have struggled, and I do think both offenses will do well in this game yet again. Mike Baumann, a 4.32 ERA, hasn't really had a ton of work at the major league level this season. 25 innings of work. Now, he's only given up 2 home runs, but he only has 17 strikeouts. I don't like those numbers in terms of the missed bats, and 8 walks allowed in those 25 innings as well. Nathan Eovaldi has struggled at Fenway Park, an ERA above 6 this season. Coming back from his injury, his first start in over a month, I don't like him in this game, so give me the over in this Orioles-Red Sox ball game. Next up, we go to Wrigley Field as the Phillies take on the Cubs. We're going to see this one at 2:20 Eastern start time. Ranger Suarez and Javier Assad as the starters. Javier Assad starting to regress a little bit. Now his ERA above 4 at 4.28 at Wrigley Field so far in about 11 innings of work at home, giving up 8 earned runs and 3 home runs, 9 walks as well. His last start against the Pirates was on the road, but he didn't pitch too well. 4 innings, giving up 4 total runs, 3 of those being earned, a homer and 3 walks. And, I do think the Phillies lineup has proven to be pretty good against righties in the last month. Team OPS and isolated power numbers near the top of the league. Team OPS actually ranks 2nd in the league. I think they'll be able to get to Javier Assad. And when you look at the Chicago Cubs against lefties in the last 30 days, their offense just hasn't been there. Team OPS is ranked outside the top 15, and their isolated power is ranked 24th. So give me the Philadelphia Phillies laying the 1.5 runs on the road. Next up, we see the Tampa Bay Rays taking on the Cleveland Guardians. Jeffrey Springs and Cal Quantrill are the starters for this ball game. When you look in the last month, the Guardians are ranked dead last in the league in isolated power against left-handed pitching. They're ranked 21st in team OPS. Their strikeout percentage is higher than where we've seen it most of the year, and their walk percentage is actually dead last in the league, 4.8%. So, Jeffrey Springs has been a sharp lefty this season for Tampa Bay. I think he has a pretty good outing here, even though his numbers on the road not as strong as his numbers at Tropicana Field. Still pretty good. 5-2 record on the road with a 2.88 ERA, 71 strikeouts, and 65 2/3 innings away from home. And the Rays facing Cal Quantrill, somebody that somehow has a 3.49 ERA, but it's kind of been inconsistent this year. Now, he wins a ton of games for the Guardians, that's for sure. Got a 14-5 record, and he's 8-0 in his home games, but he still gets up a good amount of home home runs, which is not really like him. He's more of a ground ball pitcher, more of a pitch-to-contact guy. This season, he's only had 120 strikeouts in about 175 innings, but he's given up at least 1 home run in 4 of his last 5 games. I don't love that. Give me the Tampa Bay Rays on the money line. In our next game, we see the Miami Marlins taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. 2 lefties on the mound for this one. No official line out, so we could see a pitching change, but Braxton Garrett and Eric Lauer are the projected starters for now. And when you look at Eric Lauer, his last 2 starts, he had to play at Coors Field and then at Great American Ballpark, which some say is a top 2 most hitter-friendly ballparks in the league. If you throw Fenway Park in that discussion, maybe it takes number 2. But now he's back at home where he's had the best numbers of the season for him at 2.98 ERA in 66 innings of work at home with a 230 opponent's batting average. I think he pitches well against a Marlins lineup that continues to struggle against lefties, while the Brewers, for the most of the season, they were struggling against left-handers as well, but their numbers have improved quite a bit over the last 30 days. I think they get to Braxton Garrett for a few runs, and I think they can score a few on this Marlins bullpen also. So give me the Milwaukee Brewers laying the 1.5 runs on the run line. Next up, we see the Oakland Athletics taking on the Los Angeles Angels. Cole Irvin and Shohei Ohtani are your starters. The Angels are hitting lefties very, very well. Cole Irvin is not in good form. His last start, he gave up 7 earned runs, 8 total runs, 11 base hits. In his last 2 games, he's given up 4 home runs combined. And now you're facing an Angels lineup that against lefties is number 2 in isolated power and number 4 in team OPS. You got Shohei Ohtani on the mound. That's enough for me. Give me the Angels laying the run line. In our next game, we see the Los Angeles Dodgers taking on the San Diego Padres. No official line for this game either, and we do see another pair of lefties on the mound in Andrew Heaney and Sean Manaea. Now, the Padres faced a lefty in Tyler Anderson in the first game of this series, and I thought it set them up well for a nice offensive showing. They were hitting lefties very well this season and in the last month, but they really didn't do too much against Anderson. They had a couple runs in the first inning, but they were kind of fluky runs, a two-out RBI single that was a little squeaker past the infield in the first inning. But other than that, they did nothing against Anderson, and I don't think it's going to get any easier against Andrew Heaney, who pitched well against the Padres back on September 11th. 5 innings, 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts. And with Sean Manaea struggling as much as he has with a 5.23 ERA in the season, facing the Dodgers back on September 10th, he only went 1 inning as he came out of the bullpen for that game. But overall, he's faced the Dodgers quite a few times this year, and his numbers have not been good. A 14.49 ERA through 13 2/3 innings, giving up 23 total runs, 22 of those being earned. 5 home runs as well. Can't trust him in this game. Even though the Padres need this game a lot more than the Dodgers do, the Dodgers still seem to want to compete in this series against their competitive and against their division rivals. So give me the Dodgers on the money line. Next up, we see the Texas Rangers taking on the Seattle Mariners. John Gray and Marco Gonzalez are your starters. This Mariners team is limping into the postseason. They are struggling quite a bit. They lost the series against the Royals. They lost the series against the A's. They lost the 4-game series, 3-1 against the Angels. So they have not been very sharp these days. They lost the first game of this series in a 5-0 shutout. I don't think we should be laying odds with Marco Gonzalez right now. I'm going to take the plus money with the Rangers and John Gray, who's been sharp this season. His last start against a pretty good Guardians lineup, he went 5 innings, no earned runs. And even though the bullpen didn't back him up in that game, I think it's going to be good enough here for the Rangers to put up a few runs on Marco Gonzalez, who's not in good form at an ERA now above 4 on the season after it was below 4 for most of the year, giving up a lot of home runs, giving up a lot of base hits, not really striking out many batters, and facing a Rangers team that, yes, doesn't hit lefties very well on the road, but they were able to get to Robbie Ray, and I think they get to Gonzalez for a few, so I think it's worth a shot. With how much the Mariners have struggled, I think it's worth a shot taking the plus money with the Rangers, so give me the Rangers on the money line. And in our final game of the night, we see the Colorado Rockies taking on the San Francisco Giants. We're going to see Ryan Feltner and Carlos Rodon as the projected starters. And the Rockies on the road against left-handed pitching in the last month have not been good at all. Their team OPS is ranked 28th. Their isolated power is also ranked 28th. And their strikeout percentage is up there in terms of the top 10 highest strikeout rates in the league. And, Carlos Rodon, one of the better lefties in the National League this season, not coming off his best work, that's for sure, against Arizona, but he did still have 7 strikeouts in 4 1/3. He's been able to miss plenty of bats and overall having a successful season. Not enough for a Giants playoff berth, but he still has done his part, at least, with that 2.98 ERA against the youngster in Feltner, who has regressed quite a bit from his strong start to his first few major league outings. I do think the Giants win this game and cover the run line in the end. So give me San Francisco laying the 1.5 runs. And that's it. Those are the games for Thursday, September 29th. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to put your baseball plays in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.